So, this is the game that's got you on edge. Movie license game, no less.
I had many great games when I was growing up, Steven. But when times were tough, I had to take what I could get. I played that game so many times. But now I'm left here to wonder, did I truly enjoy that game? Or did I just like it because I had no other choice?
That's a little dramatic, but if you say so.
Shall we?
We shall.
A Series of Unfortunate Events is a series of 13 children's novels by Lemony Snicket, which is the pen name of the author Daniel Handler. This book series follows the lives of Violet, Klaus, and Sonny Baudelaire after their parents' death in a fire.
After this tragedy, they are placed in the care of their distant cousin, Count Olaf, who repeatedly attempts to steal their inheritance by getting rid of the Baudelaire children in one unfortunate scenario after another. Due to the success of the books, the series spawned a movie adaptation in 2004 and a Netflix series in 2017.
It also spawned what we will be talking about today. The game based off the 2004 movie. For some reason, this game has stuck with me, and I guess it's time to figure out why.
Regrettably, there's only one way to do that. Let's play it.
To start, this game really wants us to get playing, as it only waits 30 seconds till it assumes we fell asleep out of boredom, so it plays the trailer to wake us up.
The game even admits it can't hold our attention.
The video game you are about to play is extremely unpleasant.
Well, there it is, Tyler. That sates your curiosity right there. The game sucks. We might as well just give it up now, right? Oh, fine.
Parts of this game, such as the intro, are shown through pencil drawings, in what appears to be a picture book of sorts. There is also narration over this by Tim Curry.
Because not very many happy things happened in the lives of the three Baudelaire children, who are Violet, the oldest, her brother Klaus, and their very young sister, Sonny.
As the story goes in the books and the movie, the kids learn of their parents' deaths and are taken to live with their distant relative, Count Olaf.
Hello, hello, hello. I am your beloved Count Olaf. And welcome to my humble dwelling, or in the words of the great French poet Ovid, mi casa et su casa. Violet, enchanté.
How do you do?
And this must be Klaus.
Ovid was Roman, and he didn't speak Spanish, and he never said that.
Klaus!
What a darling child. I have it underlined. I'll show you later.
Yahoo!
Movie license games are generally known for being bad games, but this does nail the tone of the movie pretty well.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
I don't know.
Now that the game has introduced the main characters, we get to bear witness to its graphics.
And after all your chores are done, ski, this is where you'll sleep, time permitting. As you can see, I've stocked the place with a multitude of jollies, knickknacks, and paddywhacks for your amusement. I find that giving is the greatest gift of all. Whew. If I had music behind me, you'd be crying right now.
Well, it was 2004.
Star Wars Battlefront came out that year, and Kingdom Hearts came out 2 years before that.
Speaking of which, look at how bad the lip sync is here. At least Kingdom Hearts has an excuse because it came out in Japan first and underwent localization.
The first task of the game is for you to collect certain items for an invention that Violet has thought up.
An idea for a device will do the job. I'll need a spring, a broom, a coffee can, and that boxing glove.
Well done. Nice work.
This game praises you just for pressing a button.
Why reward us for such simple tasks?
Well done. Nice work.
Since we're on the subject of Tim Curry's narrating, I've noticed that he narrates over everything.
While jumping is only recommended for people with strong knees or insects in their trousers, let's give it a go. It's a very impolite habit, and it is something you should never, ever, ever, ever do. Borrowing, on the other hand, is tolerable. Even the smartest person in the world can be forgetful at times. If you've forgotten what you're looking for, this list should do the trick. These dark moments, when their spirits were down, one thing always made the children feel better.
Granted, this is a tutorial level, but come on. Are kids so stupid that they need constant narration over everything? I mean, I played games without narration as a kid. I got through them just fine.
Continuing on with this mission, there is an obstacle.
It's locked, but I can see inside. It looks like some sort of supply closet.
Look at this. It's a ventilation shaft.
Klaus Baudelaire loved books. Nothing pleased him more than spending an afternoon filling up his head with their contents. And everything he read, he remembered.
I read a book about home ventilation once. From the size and age of the house, I'd say this is part of an old remote-mounted multiport system. It should connect to other nearby vents and may lead to rooms behind locked doors.
Sonny, you up for a challenge?
They're sending a baby? There must be a more logical way to get through a locked door. I've read a book on doors. We can break through
Let's send Sunny.
But why don't you just think of an
Sunny's almost 2. She's up to the challenge.
Steven, she's kicking up sparks.
Yep.
Do you think that's safe?
Nope.
I think the best way I can describe this section with Sunny is an on-rail platformer. Like, imagine if you were playing Super Mario Bros., but the screen was always moving, and the only thing you could do was jump. Correction, it's Super Mario Run.
That's a good comparison, Tyler, but there's one key difference.
Super Mario's a good game?
Exactly.
Sunny liked to bite things with her 4 very sharp teeth.
You know, as someone with welding education, I promise you, metal is not that brittle, even in a house as poor a state as this.
After running through the house and collecting the rest of the parts, you construct your first invention, which is used as Klaus's weapon. And now that we're past the tutorial, you actually have to rotate the parts to find the right spot to place each one.
Last, the boxing glove. Guaranteed to deliver a solid punch. And there you have it. I call it the Brilliant Bottle.
These tasks we've described become recurring events throughout this game. Going through the story, run into problem, collect items to create invention, fix the problem, Sunny does her special platforming, rinse and repeat. By the end of the game, the orphans end up equipped with melee weapons and guns. Stilts for Violet, helicopter shoes for Klaus, and a jetpack for Sunny.
Back to the story. Count Olaf warned us earlier.
There's a small rat infestation problem in the house. Make yourself useful and take care of it.
So now we gotta go take care of that.
You can take care of this. Right, Klaus?
Oh, excuse me, you're gonna make Klaus do all the hard work?
She did build the weapon.
Okay, fair, but she has a gun. She doesn't even need to get near the rats.
That wouldn't so bad. Let's find some more.
Oh, good God. He's developing a love for torturing small animals. He even sounds gleeful about it.
This is not a good way to be coping with your parents' death, Klaus. I'm not going to be complicit in your psychotic tendencies.
Kill them! Kill them all! If my parents don't get to live, neither do these rats! In our continuing pursuit of building sweet gadgets, we end up causing a lot of damage along the way, including this piano minigame. All I need to do is press these...
All my years of Guitar Hero have led me to this moment. Come on, this is easy. Give me this on Expert. I am the king.
After killing rats, spiders, and beating up a few painfully easy bosses, we are tasked with organizing some of Justice Strauss's books, getting a cookbook out of it, then gathering supplies to make pasta puttanesca for Olaf and his theater troupe.
From the color and smell, I'd say it's tetrachlorophenyl sodium hydroxide.
Oh no, not that.
We get through the acid with stilts, kill a few more rats, do some jetpack platforming, and we manage to scrounge up the only edible things left in the house, proceeding to make a meal out of it.
And oddly enough, there's no minigame for that.
And then, after they dealt with the rats, I released the spiders and made them get rid of those too!
Oh, Olaf, you're so clever.
Ahem. Dinner is served. Puttanesca.
What did you call me?
It's pasta. Pasta puttanesca.
Where's the roast beef?
Roast beef?
Philistines! You vex me to my very core. We slave for our art. Have you not seen our suffering? When a group of international actors pauses for nourishment, they expect and deserve better than a pile of mushy chum. They expect and deserve, as the Greeks would say, rôti de bœuf.
But you didn't tell us you wanted roast beef.
But you didn't tell us you wanted roast beef.
That's not fair.
Stellar line delivery there, Klaus. So, being sane, rational people, the children decide to get the hell out of there, fighting their way past henchmen and another simple boss fight against the two pale-faced women. Wait, attack when the spotlight comes up? Don't get hit by perfume bursts. But that escape doesn't work out too well.
If you are someone who likes to jump ahead of the story and guess at what is about to happen, you might suppose that the Baudelaire orphans were unsuccessful in their escape attempt and that they were thrown straight into a situation even more awful than the last. Count Olaf put the children in his car and took them on what he said would be a pleasant Sunday drive. Drive is a word which here means trapped in front of an oncoming train.
You saw that right. No building minigame for this one. But this invention actually shows up in the movie, unlike all of the weapons. I figure of all these inventions, fans of the movie would at least want the chance to manually build that one.
The next part is easy. Press X in line with the target to fire at the track switcher, and...
But just before it was too late, a magical flying unicorn swept down from the sky and whisked them to safety.
You know, Tim Curry being the narrator makes this a lot easier to roll with. And with that minigame done, the story progresses just like in the movie. Mr. Poe finds the children in the car, but as Tim explains...
Past, Mr. Poe happened by, with an assessment of the situation that had almost nothing to do with what was really going on.
Sonny is far too young to be driving an automobile. It's simply not good parenting.
That brings us to the next phase in the story, where the Baudelaire children are put in the care of their Uncle Monty.
Well, hello there. I am your Uncle Monty. My goodness, you must be Violet. Do you remember me? Come in. There's not much time, and we've got to get ready for Peru.
You're taking us to Peru?
Isn't it exciting? Of course. I'll need to make sure you're up to the task. Peru is no place for amateurs. I've hidden 4 aspiring adventurer trophies in and around my house. If you can retrieve all of them, I'll know you can handle whatever challenges Peru has to throw at you.
Well, hey, that's a step above the movie. And that Monty just said, hey, we're going to Peru.
I have to compliment the game here. It filled a logical hole in the situation by having Monty test the children's adventuring merits before taking them on a jungle expedition, which is a great way to make gameplay feel necessary and not tacked on.
Still involves a lot of child endangerment, but it's a good way of translating this story to the medium of a video game.
So here we are, off to find adventurer trophies. Finding the adventurer's trophies involve much of the same, with some switches and snake catching thrown into the mix. Oh, and did we mention it's become even more dangerous for Sonny?
Tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk.
We'd make terrible parents. And of course, the usual beating up of creatures, including exploding wasps.
I thought Monty was supposed to be the good parent.
Magnificent! You're well on your way. This next challenge is a bit of a nasty one. You'll have to get rid of a swarm of giant wasps.
Uncle Monty?
No need to fret. You've done such a good job so far, I'm certain you'll have no trouble at all. Ready? Go!
No, it's Vespula Gigantus.
Yet another flawless line delivery, Klaus.
Actually, the deadpan is warranted here. Defeating the wasps is easy. The game targets for you more or less, so you just have to keep firing your fruit flinger.
I put Archfiend Soldier into attack mode.
See? I knew you could take care of those wasps.
Now that the children have proven that they can handle Peru, Count Olaf re-enters the story in disguise.
Yes, excuse me. I'm looking for Dr. Montgomery. I am Stefano. I am an Italian man, and I am here to assist and facilitate his efforts in any way that I can, as well as to remain observatory.
You're Count Olaf.
Pardon me? I don't know of any such person as a Count Olaf, though it certainly sounds like an impressive title.
Mr. Stefano, sound advice. It's wonderful to meet you, and bless you for coming on such short notice.
Uncle Monty, we have to tell you something.
Sorry, children, there's no time for chit-chat. Stefano, please come with me. I'll show you the reptile room.
All of my most important scientific achievements in snakeology have been a direct result from me wanting to be exactly like you.
It's a note from Uncle Monty.
Children, I have a number of snakes that prefer to live outdoors. They must be brought into the reptile room before we leave for Peru. Please gather them up for me.
While rounding up the snakes with a new invention by Violet,
The reptile retriever.
we come across what is probably the most multi-layered boss of the game, this snake-charming henchman of Olaf's.
Let me play you a song.
Oh no, the snakes are under his spell. We've got to recapture them.
Essentially, you've got to round up the snakes, then avoid his loud horn blares, which hurt you apparently, and then punch him, all the while avoiding his seismic stomps and protecting yourself from frogs.
So he's pretty much the hardest thing in the game. Not that that's saying much.
That sort of thing cannot be allowed to continue.
Damn.
What an unpleasant experience.
Damn it. I feel like we're having a harder time at this than we should be.
Maybe you suck at it.
Hey! Oh!
Finally.
The children defeat more henchmen and pick the lock to Olaf's luggage with the Simon Says minigame. But it's too late.
It is absolutely true that had you acted differently in life, there are mistakes that could have been avoided, opportunities that wouldn't have been missed, and yes, even lives that could have been saved. We try not to think about these things, but when tragedy strikes, we can often do nothing else.
This development instigates Sonny's platforming to let out the incredibly deadly Viper to poke a hole in Olaf's alibi, and you get to hear him talk the entire time.
It was Dr. Dead Guy's dream to take the children.
Dr. Dead Guy? Are you even trying, Olaf?
What an unpleasant experience.
Distracted by tastelessness. Now I'm the dead guy.
Okay, just take it slow now. Take it slow. Take it slow! Ah.
Sonny, that's cute and all, but I'm not in the mood.
After a couple more instances of splendid phrasing,
He is a very brilliant dead guy. It's decided. I'll just be dragging these children to the car now.
Sonny makes way with the debunking.
Unbelievable. What you said about the snake is true. That means Mr. Stefano must be... ready to go.
So off we go to the part of the game based off the part of the movie based off the third book in the series, The Wide Window. Their new guardian, Aunt Josephine.
Aunt Josephine was terrified of just about everything you can think to be afraid of, and quite a few things you would never think to be afraid of.
Aunt Josephine?
Baudelaires, is that you?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was worried you might be realtors.
Realtors?
Well, you can never be too careful about realtors. Who knows what they're capable of?
After that, Aunt Josephine tells the children that they're going to head to town for hurricane supplies. That is, until they run into an old face.
I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how sorry I is for running you down there like that.
Count Olaf.
What? That horrible man you warned me about? Where?
Standing right in front of you.
Behind this fine gentleman?
Captain Sham's the name.
An awful disguise paired with an awful name.
Call me Julio.
Julio, that makes it even worse!
The objective here is simple. Get food for dinner and fight off the henchmen appearing around the town. As usual, these boss fights aren't that difficult. Man with anchor, jump twice, hit him. He runs, repeat. Boss fight against this woman. She chucks pastries at you, the lock-on marker appears, and you shoot her. Exactly like the perfume-wielding boss fight in Monty's house. Which brings up a problem I actually have with this game. The difficulty fluctuates at very weird points. Normally, games get more challenging as you progress. Think of Pokemon and Final Fantasy. The difficulty goes up over time because you get stronger and more skilled the further you play through the game. But in this game, there are levels that are more difficult earlier on, but then they go back to being a piece of cake. Sadly, the difficulty of this game peaks at the Snake Charmer boss at Monty's. Difficulty progression is very important in video games. It's a main aspect of what makes it fun. Overcoming a challenge is satisfying. Would you want to fight a very difficult boss, then the next one be a cakewalk?
The last items to get are the grammar books, which are being held in the air inside a crate.
What purpose would Olaf and his men have for stealing these books?
In any case, we need to make a new gun to shoot it down. Get supplies, make the new gun,
Peppermint popper.
and then you get to shoot down the books. This is followed by an on-rail shooting section where a bunch of stuff is thrown at you.
Another boss battle ensues where you just have to dodge some barrels. How thrilling. You get the books and return to Aunt Josephine's house. But as the story goes,
Aunt Josephine! Where are you?
Aunt Josephine? Oh no, we're too late.
She left us a note.
As was always the case in the lives of the Baudelaire orphans, the note said nothing good. Aunt Josephine had given up on life and willed away the children to the newly met Captain Sham.
Wait a minute. I think I found something. If you take only the misspelled letters and eliminate everything else, you end up with... Yes, it's a secret message.
What?
The letters combine to spell Curdled Cave. She's not dead. That's where she's hiding.
Klaus!
Violet!
and now the house is starting to fall apart from Hurricane Herman.
How unfortunate. Let's try that again.
This is harder than it looks.
Maybe, or...
Maybe you suck at it.
Shut up.
We've got Klaus out of harm's way, but now Violet has to use an umbrella to float her and Sunny to safety.
This is getting dangerous!
I am 100% sure that this was already dangerous.
Sonny, come back! It's much too dangerous!
And the hypocrisy continues.
After everything else you put her through, that's too dangerous? Sunny gets through it, does a little moonwalk, and the children sail for Curdled Cave.
Even though we found Aunt Josephine, she's unwilling to leave without her grammar books, which for some reason are at the bottom of the cave, which leads to another section of sunny platform.
Do you feel...
More of those pesky crabs. We'll need to clear them out to get to the books.
Does this game have any penalties to dying? We just respond right where we die with full health?
I think at this stage the developers knew the game would be way past boring, so they just decided, let's make it easier to finish from here on out.
Why can't I get it? Why?
We acquire Josephine's books, but as we leave the cave...
It's the leeches!
It's a good thing none of us have eaten in a while. Right?
I had one banana left. I was so hungry.
Oh god.
What is it?
I have bad memories of this level. I don't know why, but I remember having such a difficult time playing it as a kid. Steven, I hope you're ready.
They're attacking me.
I mean, you kind of have to press the button a bit intensely, but it's not that hard to manage.
So just because I was a kid?
Could be, or maybe...
Maybe you suck at it.
Shut up.
How's it taste, Tyler?
As so often happens, the Baudelaire children's relief turned to despair when their rescuer turned out to be none other than Count Olaf. And as so very often happens, Count Olaf did something of such unspeakable cruelty that I must refuse to even speak about it. Suffice it to say, Aunt Josephine was no longer a part of the children's lives.
Of losing my little treasures. Even the massive inheritance would be a constant reminder of my heartache. Really?
Oh, well, no need to fret about that. The law clearly states that you would not inherit the Baudelaire fortune if anything happened to the children. That only applies to close relatives and married couples.
Married? My good man, you've given me an idea. I shall celebrate the children's safe return with the debut performance of my new play. It's called...
And now we're back at Olaf's for his play. His sneakiest scheme to get the Baudelaire fortune yet. Now it's up to Klaus to save Sonny and stop the marriage.
This time, Klaus is in charge of inventing a new gadget, as well as naming it.
It's more clever at naming these things. But I'll give it a shot. I'll call it the Horrifying Hook.
Klaus, stick to your books. What ensues is another stealth section, this time with a grappling hook. I've got to be honest, this section is providing a decent variety of frantic circumstances. Weak floorboards, barrels, and falling objects. It's actually making this section tricky. This is pleasing.
The journey up the tower is capped off by a boss fight with the hook-handed man, who throws barrels at you from the ceiling and from cubbies in the floor.
I hate to tell you this, but there's a bit of a snag in your plan.
Shouldn't you be alerting Count Olaf on the walkie-talkie that Klaus is trying to interfere right now?
Then Klaus goes up to the glass eye, uses it to focus sunlight to burn the marriage certificate, ending the story. Are you kidding me? They have a minigame dedicated to burning that piece of paper?
Remember what I said earlier about gameplay feeling necessary and how it's good to have that? Well, this minigame falls into the tacked on category.
Olaf and his henchmen run around the stage for a while before striking a pose, upon which you fire at the one holding the marriage certificate.
Is that it?
No, it changes up after a bit.
Olaf takes sole custody of the paper and hides in trapdoors. Every now and again, he pops out, but he does so while hiding behind his henchmen. Also, they're shooting you with watermelons now.
What?
Let's send that meddling orphan into the briny deep once and for all!
Hey, Steven, didn't we just beat that guy with the hook hands like 5 minutes ago, and now he's running around as if he's part of the play?
Yep, and he was actually running around striking poses with the rest of them, about a minute after we beat him. I can't stand it when a piece of media doesn't even have basic consistency.
You keep going about it like this. Shoot the watermelon so you don't get hurt, burn more of the paper. And this final series of challenges gets decently harder as it progresses.
Isn't this great? It took him till the end of the game to learn good difficulty progression.
Well, hey, better late than never. Although this is pretty damn late.
You burn the last fringe of the paper, and voila, the game is beat.
All part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. All part of the show.
We're not falling for it.
I hereby arrest you in the name of the law.
Oh dear. I'm thrilled to say that Count Olaf was captured, that he was imprisoned and found guilty by the court for crimes too numerous to mention.
Wow! All part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. All part of the show. Lights!
Lights, you buffoon!
Oh, sorry. Stop him!
He's getting away!
Heartache, misery, and suffering.
And that was a series of unfortunate events in the movie, The Video Game. This is a game I've played and beaten many times in my childhood, and now once in my adulthood.
So pray tell, now that we've gotten through that whole thing, what do you have to say about it?
The most I could say about this game is that, at best, it's okay. It has moments where I enjoyed myself, but there are issues. Kids game or not, the challenge factor was not there in a lot of places, to the point where, most of the time, I was just continually pressing one button. And with only about 5 hours of game to play, even kids won't get much out of it. The difficulty progression was uneven, and it seems to have been designed to get players stuck on a few key parts, which would force kids to play it longer. But that doesn't make it fun. As a kid, I played because I liked the movie, and at the time, it wasn't easy to get my hands on new games to play. But given a reasonable range of other games to choose from, I figured most kids would choose a different game. And as Steven said before, Kingdom Hearts and Star Wars Battlefront were already out by the time of this game's release. Two games that have a lot more replayability and you can put a lot more hours into.
Well, that, and this game wasn't as well constructed or fun as those.
Even though we're harping on this game, it maintains a level of charm through some of the voice acting. They nailed the tone of the movie, and I can't help but love Tim Curry as Lemony Snicket. In terms of basic game construction, this game is very average. But if you're a fan of the movie, your affection might elevate the experience of playing it.
However, if you purchase this for full retail price or close to it,
Then I do sympathize with you if you feel ripped off.
Which, luckily for me, I didn't when I was a kid or as an adult. For repurchasing this game, I only spent $2, so no hard feelings here. In conclusion, this is by no means a terrible game. It has many flaws, but you're not going to claw your eyes out because of it. There are a lot of bad movie licensed video games out there, but this is not among the most terrible ones. And I can't just let them slide. Going in and saying, oh, it's a movie licensed game, of course it's going to suck, isn't the right attitude. There have been some fantastic licensed games out there, like DuckTales.
Star Wars games.
Yeah, the Arkham series.
Spider-Man 2. That came out in 2004 as well, and it's arguably one of the best movie licensed games out there.
Exactly. You can't just judge a movie licensed game and say it's going to suck. Some of them may surprise you. Hey, Steven, you're going to want to see this. Do we have to?